Somebody said, is there any footage of your church performances online? I'm pretty sure they are. If you look up New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, it's hard for me to tell you what to go look for. It's a lot of footage of me performing. You just would have to know that that's me playing. But anything that you would find, not anything, almost anything that you would find with New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, like praise breaks, Bishop Eddie Long, New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, Total Praise Choir, that kind of stuff. A lot of that stuff online, you'll find me playing. Majority of that stuff, up until about a year ago. So almost all of that stuff that you'll find online, including the stuff with the artists. A lot of that stuff you'll find me playing on. So yeah, Canton Jones, some Canton Jones stuff you'll find me playing, some of that stuff live. If you can find any of those live performances, there's a lot of footage floating around out there, much of which I have not seen. Yeah, I don't, that's the best thing I can tell you. With a lot of the New Birth stuff, I was there every week for 12 years, and we were always broadcasting, so there's a lot of footage out there floating around somewhere. So yeah, you can find that stuff there. So how is everybody today? Hopefully everybody is well. Koala Bears have found it. Cool. Now, if you're looking at the New Birth albums with, like, what was the name of the album? I think it was like A New Beginning and Bishop Eddie Long Presents, something like that. I didn't play that stuff. The albums were before me. There were 2 albums that they put out. They were really, really big albums. And that was Daryl Freeman who played those albums. I came after Daryl, so I didn't play any of those albums. I did play a lot of the songs live. We did Suddenly live 1,000 times, and there's probably several of those on YouTube. So I'm playing that live. So yeah, so you can find some of that stuff there. So some of these songs y'all requesting, you can probably find me playing them live at church. So yeah, hopefully everybody is well this morning. I wanted to get on here. I struggled getting up this morning. I didn't get up as early as I would have loved to get up. Well, I still got up early, especially as it relates to some people. But according to the time I like to get, it was a struggle. Struggle was real this morning. But nonetheless, I drugged myself out of bed. I got in here and I was able to get in here, start getting it done. And one of the things was happening, a great moment of reflection this morning as well. I was going through some of my old music, well, some of my new music because it's new to you guys because you haven't heard it. There's stuff that I haven't even released that goes on Dreams Work Reality Part 2. If you guys have Part 1, there is a Part 2 to this record. It was a Part 2 when I released Part 1. I just haven't released Part 2. Good morning, Tiffany. Yeah, I just haven't released Part 2 yet, but it was recorded at the same time as Part 1. And there are a few extra songs that I've been working on to add to the Part 2 as well. And I was listening to some of the stuff. You got to think, we cut this stuff like 3 years ago, but we somewhat finished it probably like 2 years ago. And I was listening back to some of the mixes on some of the songs, and it took me back. It took me just back to kind of where my headspace was when I wrote some of this stuff. And I don't know, man, just a feeling of gratitude, just like overwhelming gratitude just came over me. And yeah, just hence the title, I'm grateful for. No, everybody wonders, what are you grateful for? But I mean, a number of things. And like I said, the sense of gratitude. I had a friend of mine I talked to just on yesterday, and I found out he and his wife had been dealing with COVID. And just, not in an insensitive sense of the meaning like, well, I'm not dealing with it, so I'm so glad I don't mean it that way. But when you just think about how much you have to be thankful for, you said Matthew 6:33, 10 Ways to Success, chapter 3. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. You're reading the book. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'll mention this later, but he referencing my book. But yeah, that sense of gratitude just for, man, being able to be here. The little simple things that we take for granted. I don't want to dive into it too quickly. I know some people still jumping in. I actually got on here a little early. I got on here like 10 minutes early, so I've been playing for a minute. I know some people are like, man, you didn't play today. But I just wanted to take a moment out this morning, not be so technical, not, do a request live where I'm playing a whole bunch of your top picks. It's not that kind of thing today. I really, it's never that kind of thing. But today I felt a sense of gratitude. So I just wanted to express that in this live today, and maybe get some of you guys to shift your focus depending on what you have going on. I know it's a lot happening right now. Some of you guys might be stressed out. You might have a lot going on. So here to provide a little bit of encouragement. It's called Grooves and Motivations. This is what Tuesday mornings is called. If you're just joining me for the first time and you're like, okay, what is this about? It's grooves and motivation. That's the whole point of Tuesday mornings with me when I go live. I'm going to give you some grooves and we're going to talk. It's going to give you a little bit of motivation, give you some encouragement, and hopefully give you some inspiration to go and face the week and go and face some of the things that you have to deal with, some of the big decisions you have to make, give you a better perspective on, hopefully give you a fresh perspective and a new way of kind of looking at things that, will move you forward, hopefully. So I got this other thing, and I'll come back to that funk groove that I was playing earlier. I had this little loop I was playing around this morning. I hope I remembered. I've been playing all this other stuff, so hopefully I remember what it is I was playing on this looper this morning. Just kind of going with that grateful mindset. Found what key I was in. All right. Hopefully that bless somebody. So yeah, let's see here. Let's go back. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Corey. Upper Maryland. Jesse, good morning to you. Thank you. Appreciate that, Floppy. Yeah. So going back to this idea of what I was talking about, my headspace being just gratitude, overall gratitude. I think that's as simple as that sounds. That's one of the, in my opinion, one of the most easiest things to not do or to overlook is just being grateful. Because in this microwave society that we live in, it teaches us not to be grateful. We're always trying to get to something else. It's so hard to enjoy or be in the moment because just think about our goals and all this kind of stuff. When I get to this, and then I'll be, or once I finally figure such and such out, or when I can get my hands on this, or once I pay this off, or once I get this amount of money, once I can buy, you're always in a sense of trying to get to something else. We're always in that place. I'm guilty myself. We're always in this place of trying to figure out this next move. And every now and again, I have to stop myself and ask myself, you know, what if today is it? You know, what if today is it? Thank you, Floppy. I see your message. But what if today is your last day on earth? I know it's a deep, heavy, a heavy topic for first thing in the morning, but it's something to think about. I mean, I'm glad I'm able to put this on your mind first thing in the morning because it gives you the rest of the day to really process this and really kind of look at it. Because I'm going to do the same. But what if this were my last day on earth? How would I live this day? How would I handle it? How would I make the most of each moment? One of the real things a friend of mine was sharing with me on yesterday, talking about the whole idea of dealing with COVID, and hopefully this video don't get flagged because I'm saying that word, but dealing with what's going on, it's the realization of how many things you take for granted from day to day. Because when you're in isolation, that pulls you away from being able to spend time with certain people you want to spend time, even your family, people that live in the same house with you. When you're isolated from those people, or being, you know, being able to think about some of these people who have experienced, you know, you're seeing so much stuff on the media and everything about, man, this is fake and this is not real. It's not real to you because you haven't experienced it. I haven't personally experienced it, but knowing that there have been people even in my own hometown, there have been people in my own hometown who have died alone in a hospital by themselves. They couldn't see their family. And maybe some of you guys are watching, you have experienced that, and you know people personally who have went through that. And, you know, that's a very, very, very sad feeling. Not to bring the energy down, but that's a very, very sad feeling. And it just makes you, it should make you more appreciative of the time that you have with people, more appreciative of the opportunity that you get to see somebody, that you get to make the choice whether you're going to see or speak or have anything to do with certain people. They get on your nerves. Because it's so funny once the table is turned and you see that things are a little bit different because of a situation or a life-threatening situation, a terminally threatening situation. Is like, wait a minute, okay, the thing that I thought was important, that grudge I was holding on to, is not as important as I thought it was. So being able to like really get past that stuff and live in the moment and be thankful and be grateful for where you are. It's just, I don't know, I'm sound like I'm rambling, but it's just where my headspace is this morning. Just being extremely grateful. Just being super extremely grateful. Charles, what's up, man? Every day is a gift. It should be treated as such. It's true, man, but unfortunately, that's not the case. We wake up, most of us wake up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning. We awoke, however you said, awakened to something, some bad news. You get on your phone, you get on social media, especially social media. It's like, I don't want to say it's the worst. At times it can be, though. If you start your day with social media, and that's the first thing you're looking at, and you're in a response mode, you don't get an opportunity to take a hold of your day. You're in complete response mode. So somebody send you something negative at the first part of the day, it's like, now you gotta, address that, or if you don't address it, you gotta think about it. It's on your mind. So it's like, it almost takes complete control of your day if you're not careful. Jumping on Instagram and something, what's up, Fleece? Jumping on Instagram and seeing what somebody else is doing and seeing how their life looks to be so much better than yours. Now you're playing a comparison game. It constantly keeps you in this whole rat race of not being grateful, not being thankful, because you're always focusing on something else instead of looking around you. Okay, that's nice. Instead of looking around you and seeing what you have, seeing what's available to you. Now, there's an old song from where I'm from. Talks about count your blessings. It's not from where I'm from, but we used to sing it. Count your blessings and name them one by one. You ought to count your blessings and name them one by one. Tiffany says, agreed. With social media, even if it's something positive, watching, what is that? Watching other people live their life, there's no way to live. Nope, absolutely not. And when I said count your blessings and name them one by one, and so many things we look over, and I said it at the beginning of this talk, so to speak, it's the easiest thing to overlook, being grateful. When you wake up in the morning, if you can start making a habit of just naming off when you say, well, I don't have any blessings, I got this going on, I got that going on, that's the wrong attitude going in. To start acknowledging your blessings, you have to look at the positive things you have going on. That's what you count as your blessings, the positive things you have going on. I woke up today. Number one, that's a positive, because somebody didn't get up today. Somebody did not make it through the night. Somebody had to call family in because of another family member that didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got a call over in the middle of the night, got them out of the bed. They've been up since whatever time this morning, trying to figure out how to put their life back together because of this tragic news that they just heard. And if you woke up this morning and that wasn't your reality, that's something to be thankful for. Good morning, bro. I just had a first cousin die from COVID-19 3 weeks ago. I wish I could have spent more time with her. You see what I'm saying? Sorry, very sorry to hear that, Andre. Very, very sorry to hear that. And I've lost some distant relatives as well because of that. As well that I personally know about. So it's like just that attitude of when you wake up in the morning, the fact that you're here. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing you can be thankful for. The next thing, if you get out of the bed on your own, if you're able to get out of the bed and stand up, it's so easy to take that for granted. Me personally, some of you guys know my story, some of you guys don't know my story. I won't go into it here. You can go on my website to the speaker tab, about page, and you can learn a little bit more about my story. That way I don't have to spend time telling you here. But there was a point in time in my life that I was in a wheelchair, and I wasn't able to stand up on my own. Well, I could stand up, but I wasn't able to get around and walk on my own because of an accident that I had. So each day that I'm able to get on my own 2 feet and move around, I'm thankful. I'm grateful, extremely grateful for that, because at any moment you realize this stuff can be taken away from you. You realize that it can be over with, so I'm super grateful for each of these things, each of these moments that I get, even the moments that I get to spend with my family. It's easy for me to take those moments for granted because I'm here with my family all the time, especially given the season that we're in. Most people are isolated at home in quarantine. You see your family all the time, so you can easily become dismissive to the fact that they're around you. I know this is personal for me, so you have to remind yourself to do things to try to enjoy, to try to value that moment, because these moments you don't get back. You just don't get these moments back. And the thing that adds the most joy and sorrow at the same time is when you look at pictures. Like even with me, with my immediate family, when I look at pictures of moments that I had with my kids or moments that I had with my wife, and it might have been 3 or 4 years ago, you look at how they look different then and how they look different now, and it's like, man, it's like you're looking at the moment, you're kind of happy, but another part of your mind is like, I know I hadn't really completely valued every one of these moments. And it's almost nearly impossible to do every one of them, but if we can kind of get that ratio a little bit higher than what it is currently, because man, you just really realize you miss out on so much. We miss out on so much looking at this next thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about planning. I'm all about setting goals. That's one of my key things, getting stuff done, trying to make sure you're moving yourself forward. But in the meantime, as you're moving forward, don't forget to enjoy life. One of the things I tell my students, and if I know I got one watching, but if any, well, I know I got more than one watching. Sorry, my students that I do the private coaching sessions with. One of the things I try to tell them is try to enjoy the journey. Like, don't get so caught up in the I'm trying to do all this technical stuff and trying to figure out this instrument that you forget to enjoy to play the instrument. That's the reason you picked it up. You wanted to learn to play it for enjoyment purposes, not to become a robot. You didn't pick this thing up just so you could spend all your time practicing all the time. At some point, you wanted to be able to enjoy what you do, but you can't keep putting that off. Once I learn my pentatonic scale, once I learn my modes, and once I learn this, and once I learn that, and I can figure all this out, and once I got all this under my hands, then I can enjoy it. You'll never enjoy it. I'm just being honest with you. With that mentality, you'll never enjoy it because you're always putting off that, you're always putting off that enjoyment for a later date. And the problem with that is that later date never comes, because the more you learn, the more you have to continue to learn. I know this now. Well, let me learn this since I know this. And okay, let me learn this now. I for me personally, because that's not how I grew up playing. Good morning, Albert. That's not how I grew up playing. So we grew up just with just a simple approach to learning music, and it was just from a standpoint of enjoying what it is we do. So it wasn't until later in my career, my musical career, that I started getting into that mode of I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and gotta improve on this, and it's like you started getting to this place where you weren't enjoying the music as you should enjoy the music, and so you started focusing on things that were important, but they weren't the main thing. And it's the saying, keep the main thing the main thing. You gotta keep the main thing the main thing. What is the whole purpose of you picking up this instrument? Only you can answer that question. If it's for you just to make money, then by all means do what you have to do to make money. But if you pick this instrument up to learn how to do something that you would one day enjoy, well, make sure that stays in the forefront and not all this other stuff, and not the reaching the Joneses mentality. You hear some little kid blaze on Instagram or on YouTube and do something crazy, and all of a sudden you look at your own self, you look at your own plan, and you think, I'm no good, so I got to go back to the drawing board. That stuff should inspire you, nonetheless. It should inspire you to want to become better, but it shouldn't discourage you to put your instrument down. And I know it's easy for me to say, but you have to understand, I've been there over and over again, and I still am there from time to time, depending on who I listen to or what type of season I'm in the moment. And you see these other things, and it's like, man, you want to throw in the towel and be like, man, I'm never going to get there. But you don't measure how good you are or how good you're going to be compared to somebody else. You measure it according to what you see yourself doing for yourself. That's what you measure it according to. So my skill set is my skill set. Victor Wooten's skill set is his skill set. Marcus Miller's skill set is his skill set. So you can't measure how good you can become, because the reality of it is what you might develop along the way might be something way beyond what they came up with. Is it better? It's not necessarily saying it's better, but to what you do, it might be beyond what they were doing with their instrument. It might be something completely different, something completely off the wall. I don't know. I can't make that call. 10 years ago, I couldn't have known that let's go a little farther. 15 years ago, when I was trying to figure this thing out, I could have known I would be where I am now in my playing. I couldn't have saw that. Like, I didn't even know this level of my playing existed. But I just kept pushing, and I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And even now that I'm here at this current level, I know that there is so much higher that I can go with this instrument. But I didn't know that 15 years ago, because looking at how I sounded then, it's like, man, I didn't ever think I was going to get here, let alone talking about going beyond that. So you just never know what you're capable of doing, and you have to make a habit of pushing your own boundaries and maintaining just that grateful attitude. Coming back to the core of what I was talking about, you have to maintain that gratitude that you are able to do what you do. And I think when you do it with a passion and with a love and with an enjoyment for what it is you're trying to do, what it is you're trying to accomplish, and you just love it and you're just grateful for the opportunity to do it. Because not everyone can figure it out. This can be hard for some people. Some people can't carry a tune in the bucket. You know, singing or playing, they don't understand. Some people don't have timing at all. Like, not, okay, my timing is a little bad. No, some people don't have, I'm talking about can't walk and chew gum at the same time, timing. You know, so these little things that you overlook that you naturally have, you should be grateful for them. Man, thank you that I'm able to hear music. Thank you that I can hear. You know, and I don't say that in a insensitive meaning to a person that's deaf. I don't say that with that. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. I don't mean that in terms of, well, I'm so glad that this is not me, but just thanking God for the little things that you have, the little things that you overlook. Sight, being able to see, being able to feel. My fingers are hurting. Well, thank you, God, I can still feel my fingers. Because some people that are paralyzed, they don't feel nothing. So it's all about perspective. The overall thought of the morning, if I had to summarize all this up, it's all about perspective. It's everything, all of it is about perspective. Because your life is as bad or as great as you think it is. And I'll let that marinate for a minute. Your life is as bad or as great as you think it is. And you're the one that controls that thought. You're the one that controls that thought. There are multi-millionaires and billionaires who are completely miserable, who have everything money could buy, but they're completely miserable. And there are people who seem like they don't got eye water to cry with in terms of resources, but they're happy as can be. Because apparently their happiness wasn't tied up in material things. Vice versa, when somebody else's happiness was tied up in material things, they can't get enough to make them happy, because you come to find out that those things don't make you happy. They can ease some of the stress that you have about certain things financially, but ultimately they don't make you happy. That's internal. All that stuff is internal. Thank you for that, Floppy. All that stuff is internal. How you see everything around you, how you see the world. I think if you can start waking up with an attitude of gratitude and try to keep that going throughout the day, you know what I'm saying? Try to keep that idea going throughout the day. It puts you in a better place. It puts you in a mentally better place. There's a verse that I love that says, now the peace of God that surpasses all understanding shall guard your hearts and your minds through Christ Jesus. Like that verse, like the peace that you get in your mind just by meditating on things that are positive, things that are pure, things that are honest, things that are not negative, in other words. Stop thinking about negative stuff all the time. Stop letting that take up residency in your brain. Like, kick it out. Kick out all of that negative stuff that you keep regurgitating, like all of that stuff that you keep thinking about that has nothing to do with anything. It might be true. All the facts point to, yes, this is real. These are real issues, but you don't have to dwell on that. Just because it's something that's true, just because it's happening, that doesn't mean that has to be your reality. You can create your own reality. Hence, dream, shameless plug, dreams, work reality. The name of my record. It's like you work that. Let me see. I seen a comment here. Amen. We are winning the battle of the mind this morning. Let's go. Absolutely, man. We're winning the battle. We're winning the battle of the mind. Thomas, absolutely, man. It's about the stuff that you put in your mind, the positive stuff that you put in your mind, and you control. Your mind is just like your body in terms of my health fanatics, you people who eat and you're very aware of calories and you're very aware of all this stuff. Are you counting bad thoughts that you put in your mind? Are you obese in negativity? Like, think about it. Are you counting? Are you paying attention? Are you getting up and working out those negative thoughts every single morning when you get up? Thank you from South Africa. I see you. Are you being aware of that? I literally Every morning when I get up, every morning, I make it a priority to take on my day, to take control of my day, to take on the negative thoughts, meaning stomp them out, not sit there and try to fight with them and try to think my way. You can't outthink negative thoughts. You can't do that. You have to replace those thoughts with something positive. And the more you keep stacking that positive stuff, the negative stuff goes away. It's going to try to come back, but that's why you have to reinforce. But it's all about what you have in the tank. It's all about what you have in the tank. Because the stuff that you put in your mind, that's going to make all the difference in the world. Our rewards in life will always be an exact portion to our. Yeah. That's one of my joints I got in my dream reality list. That quote you talking about, Earl Nightingale. Yes, sir. Madagascar, I see you in here. Let me slide up a little closer so I don't have to keep getting up out of my seat. But yeah, y'all, that's just, I don't know, that's my perspective. And granted, these are my thoughts on my channel. You don't have to agree with me, but I hope that you will take something away from what I'm saying and apply it to your own life. I'm not trying to get everybody to be me, because I'm me, but I'm just trying to give you some perspective. Maybe some of you guys have been down in this season, and the worst thing to do is to be secretly battling, and nobody knows you're going through stuff secretly in your mind, because we hide everything with this. And then when we take our selfies, we're like this all the time. So secretly you're dying inside and nobody knows it, because you're losing the battle with your mind, because you're allowing these negative thoughts to set up shop, to set up camp in your mind. And so what happens when one person set up camp and it's a campfire? Is somebody else wants to come. They want to set up camp. So one negative thought comes, it sets up shop, you don't kick it out, and then a negative thought, like, oh, that's nice. Before you know it, you got a whole trailer park of negative thoughts in your mind, just occupying, making a mess. And so you are just out of control, but you're trying to hide everything with a smile, and internally you're dying. You have to kill that stuff that's killing you. There's a quote by Les Brown that says, you have to fight for what you want. Because the moment you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. The moment you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will take over. Same thing with your thoughts. Weeds grow in your mind, just like the weeds that you have to spray the little weed killer on outside. That those same weeds try to grow in your mind. It's like, so when you don't address this stuff that's negative, it's negative, these thoughts, even the little stuff. It was one of my students the other day, I had to say something to them about the statements and it was innocent. It wasn't like, it was like something along the lines of, I know I ain't gonna be able to do this. It was innocent, little stuff that we say that we don't think about. And I was like, no, you can do it, keep going. And I addressed them about, you have to be mindful of what you're saying out of your mouth, because you're shaping your reality with every word you say. Every single word you say. So when you say, I'm not going to be able to do this, guess what's going to happen? Your brain is, oh, okay, we can't do this. So you freeze up and you stop. But if you keep that mindset of, all right, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get it. This time I'm going to get it. This time I'm going to get it. All right, this is the one. If y'all can hear me when I'm recording sometimes, when I'm recording these albums, and I do like 100 takes, and I'm like, all right, this is the one. This is the one right here. This is the one right here. I keep saying it over and over again, and before you know it, I have my take. I might have to do it 100 times, but I have my take, because the conversation that I'm having with myself is one to reinforce what I want to see, not the conversation to agree with what I'm seeing. Hear what I'm saying? The conversation that I have with myself is the one that reinforces what I want to see, not a conversation to agree with what I'm seeing. What you're seeing is just that. It's what you're seeing. It doesn't have to be your reality. It doesn't have to stay your reality. You can speak what you want by saying it over and over again, because what happens is not like I Dream a Genie, where you just say something and it magically shows up. No, what happens is, as you continue to speak these things, your mind starts to line up with what you're saying. Your spirit starts to line up with what it is you're saying. And you start drawing that thing to you. You start attracting that stuff that you're saying out of your mouth, that positive stuff that you're saying, the positive mentality, the positive attitude that you're having. You start attracting that stuff to you simply by what you're saying over and over again. The stuff that you're saying constantly out of your mouth, you attract it to you. You attract it to you. So if you're always talking negative, man, don't nothing ever good go for me, and I already know something gonna probably go wrong. What's gonna happen? Something gonna go wrong. Stinking thinking, yeah, Zig Ziglar. That's stinking thinking. Absolutely. You gotta watch the way you think because you attract the stuff. And I thought it was a whole bunch of garbage. And this is stuff I've been studying for years in terms of being aware of my mind, being aware of the stuff I say, being aware of the stuff I think. And the more I look at it, it's like, wow, this is actually true. It's not, again, it's not this fairy tale thing that, well, once I start changing the way I think, everything is going to change. Hear me clearly. Hear me clearly. That's not what I mean. But over time, as you adjust your thinking, everything else about you adjusts. Everything about you adjusts. So you start automatically building the defense against the things you don't want. It's almost like a person deciding that they're going to get in shape and they're going to be more healthy. It first starts in your mind. And when it starts in your mind, you start to develop a plan of how you're going to do it. And then you start to take steps. You start to take actions in order to see that goal fully realized. And before you know it, okay, you're going to the gym all the time. You're watching the food that you eat. You're cutting back on this and you're cutting back on that. Before you know it, it's like you're starting to get ripped. Like, and then it has become so much a natural part of you. People on the outside start to notice the change even before you do. And it's the funniest thing. It's like, man, I always know I can come to you for this and I can come to you for that. It's like, oh wow, I didn't even realize that. This is just who I am. Or you become something else. You become something else. And the other thing you have to be mindful of, this is a quote that I have as well. It's not my own quote. It's a quote from Jim Rohn. But beware of what you become getting what you want. Beware while pursuing what you want. So some of these people, or some of you guys who are pursuing your career in music, you're pursuing all this stuff, beware of what you become while pursuing what you want. Because some people have become really, really great musicians, but their attitudes have become horrible. All about the talking. Now there's an extreme. I can't give you all the positive side and then not give you the extreme left side to the whole speaking thing. Careful that your confidence don't become arrogant and you become proud and boastful in yourself. Speaking that I'm going to get this, I'm going to have this down pat. It shouldn't give you a license to now start to become arrogant, because just like you build those positive blocks, you can build negative blocks too. Saying good stuff, but the stuff that you're saying in the wrong intentions, having the wrong mindset behind it, almost having this very, very, it's like this thin line when you start getting really, really competitive. Know that you're competing with yourself. You're trying to grow yourself, because when you have this mentality, I'm coming for this person. I know people that think like that. You might be one of them. But when you're having this mentality, I'm coming for him. I had a guy that told me years ago, a young bass player, and I guess he admired my playing. This was a minute ago, a long time ago. But his idea, he sent me a message, yeah, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you on the bass. And I was like, what? I was kind of thrown off, because I'm like, what you mean you come? I don't get me wrong, I get it. I get what he meant by it. But that shouldn't be your ambition, to try to come for me. Your ambition should be try to be the best that you can be, because when you start getting that mentality that I'm trying to come for somebody, it's like you start kind of getting this, I don't know, this real competitive nature. Nothing wrong with being competitive, but who are you competing against? Especially when it comes to music. This is not a competition. It's an expression. And yeah, we want to be the greatest at what we do, but be the greatest version of yourself, because when you start building that mindset of arrogance, it can set up negative places as well. It can set up some negative thoughts in your mind, so you start to be condescending towards other people. You start to look down on other people because you think you've arrived somewhere that everybody else hasn't. I worked hard. I worked for this and they need to work, and you can become insensitive because of what you think you did all on your own. That's when it comes back to me, to be grounded in something bigger than yourself, knowing that God is the one that gives you the ability to do what you do. And if you don't believe that, go set an alarm clock out in the cemetery and see how many people wake up. If you think you're doing it all on your own, put an alarm clock in the cemetery and see how many people wake up. Just let it ring. You can set it at different times. Just whatever you want to do. Get 1,000 of them, set them out there, and you set them all to ring at the same time. You can bring a truck and hook it up to some speakers and do whatever you want to do. I guarantee ain't nobody getting up. So don't be fooled into thinking that you're the reason for all of the stuff that's happening positively for you, or the things that you're able to do. There are people who have been fine, and all of a sudden they wake up and they can't play at all. I see you. I see you. People wake up and they can't use their limbs. They're numb. They don't even know why. And they work their behinds off and can play. And wake up one morning and they can't move. So be careful as you're developing that mindset, as you're developing that positivity and all that kind of stuff. As you're being grateful, you don't let arrogance slip in. Pride. That pride is the thing that will take you out of here. That pride, you can't be prideful. One of the comments that I get from people when I meet people in person, it's been kind of like a common theme for me for most of my life, especially as I started growing in my career. Most people I meet in person, they're like, man, you're super humble, man. I was expecting, I don't know why they were expecting that. I guess they don't know me, but it's like, man, you're super humble, and you're this and you're that, and man, I appreciate you for being a humble guy. And I'm like, I don't know how not to be humble, because in terms of versus being arrogant, I realize that at any moment, all of this could be gone. Number one, at any moment, this all can be over with. And number two, I ain't the dopest in the world. So why walk around with this chip on my shoulder like I'm the baddest? It can be a little kid that's 3 years old coming up killing everybody. If I want to go from a competition standpoint and walk around as if I'm better than somebody, nah. Lower yourself. Humble yourself. You know what I'm saying? God will exalt you in due time. If it's for him to exalt you, you'll be raised up by him. I'd rather him lift me up than me to lift myself up and then have to. What's the saying? What's the proverb? It's better to be axed up than to go up by yourself and then be axed down. Like, nah, just go ahead and take the lower seat and let somebody invite you up, as opposed to you trying to build yourself up and you talking yourself up. Now you have to humble yourself down because you got embarrassed. Nah, that's not necessary. It's not necessary. All of us put our pants on one leg at a time. That's as simple as it is. So, even with the accomplishments, even with the track record, even with my resume, if I were to read my resume off, some of you guys might be impressed, but it's something at the end of the day, I understand it all happened by the grace of God. So there's no reason for me to go around bragging about something. I can be happy about it. I can be proud to a certain degree. But prideful? Nah. It doesn't work. It doesn't work out in the long run. It doesn't work out in the long run. Because being prideful about something that happened whenever it happened, it's over with. It's done. As much as you want to, I said this on, if any of you guys are following me on Instagram, I went live the other day and I was talking about the book, and I was kind of sharing some ideas about the book. And I was talking about the fact that you don't have to be famous. This book is not about you becoming a famous musician. It's not about you having a big name and all this kind of stuff. I said, because at the end of the day, regardless of who you've traveled with, who you've toured with, and all this kind of stuff that you've done, and everybody knows you for being this, that, and the other, all of that's over with right now. I don't care who you are. I don't care how big you are. That's over. That does not matter. I said, and when you go to the gas station, you can't say, give me $25 worth of bragging rights on pump 5. They're not going to take that. I'm sorry. You can't go spend your bragging rights anywhere. So why be arrogant? Why be puffed up? I think, if anything, 2020 has reminded everybody that, yeah, you can't walk around with your head stuck up in the air. You'll drown. What's the old folks say? You keep walking around with your nose up in the air, come a good rain, you're going to drown. And 2020 is definitely bringing the rain. So if your nose is in the air, you're probably drowning. You're probably drowning right now. So it's better to keep your head down or keep your head level. Keep your head level and keep your hand out, always willing to help somebody. And keep a heart of gratitude. Keep a mind of gratitude, being thankful. Last but not least, before I jump off, I mentioned it a couple of times. If if you don't have your copy, and some of you guys already have this, some of y'all already received your signed copy of this book, I invite you to go to my website today and order yours. You can get the it's on Amazon as well. 10 Ways to Success. If you're out of state, out of the country, or whatever. 10 Ways to Success: The Working Musician, by yours truly. This book, I feel like it will be an eye opener for some of you guys. Again, it's not to show you how to become famous in music, but it show you how to become resourceful using things that you have at your disposal, things that you do, things that are unique to you, taking your own abilities and starting to create something for yourself. So, oh wow, man! Thank you, Charles. I really appreciate it. And some people have already read it. Some people, and they'll tell you it's a very easy read. It's super easy. I know most musicians don't like to read in terms of big books, so this is a very, very thin book, very easy read. I try not to make the wording too crazy, so it should be pretty understandable. In terms of, the chapters are really short, but it's to the point. I don't beat around the bush with a lot of stuff. I just go straight to the point and talk about what I'm talking about, and then I'm done. So be sure to grab your copy of that. You can go to JermaineMorgan.net and go to my shop page. If you go to my shop or the shop tab or whatever, you'll see the book there. You can see the paperback that I'll sign and send it to you. You can see the what's the Audible version in terms of you can download the audio files. It will be available on iTunes pretty soon, but right now, at last time I checked, it wasn't available. It might be available. I don't know. I hadn't checked recently. But you can get the files. You can download the files and put them on your player or whatever. Listen, somebody said the book don't need to be big to be heavy. I like that. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that, Charles. But you can get the audio version where you can download the files, put it on your phone or whatever the case may be, and listen to it while you drive. Or the PDF version. Somebody on YouTube asked me about the PDF version, so I did make a PDF version available on my website as well. If you don't have Kindle and that kind of thing, you don't necessarily want the paperback, but you still want the book, the PDF version is available for you as well on the website. And again, to you guys that are watching and already picked it up, I know several of you guys watching have already picked the book up. I really, really appreciate it. I pray that it's been a blessing to you. You got to know a little bit more about me in terms of my story, in terms of my journey. Some of the stuff, some of you guys may have already known. Some of it, I'm sure you didn't know at all. But I'm pretty transparent for the most part in the book with sharing my personal journey. So most of these steps or these ways that I'm talking about, I tried at least most of them. A majority of all these things, I've tried them and I've done them, and they worked for me. And I've been able to see some good success from each of these things. And if you were to put some weight behind your stuff that you're doing, you might see some success as well. Don't sleep on you. Don't sleep on you because you got some stuff inside of you that might be waiting on you to pull out to make you successful as well. And remember, you determine what that success is going to be. So I just wanted to get on here for a little while, share with y'all my thoughts, and just kind of give you my perspective on how to start seeing this stuff, how to be a little bit more grateful, how to have a little bit more gratitude, how to possibly go into this day with a different mindset, with a different perspective than what you were going to go into it with, because things might not be as bad as they seem, or things might be just as bad as they seem. It all depends on your perspective on it. It all depends on your perspective on it. Hopefully you guys have found this stuff helpful. I did mention this early. I do have merchandise available as well on the website. So if you were to go to, some of y'all might see below this video, you might see some of my shirts and stuff like that, hoodies and all that kind of stuff. But easy way, if you go to my website, JermaineMorgan.net, go again to the shop tab, go to extras, and you'll see my store with all of the stuff that I have, including the Dreams Work Reality t-shirts. I've been had these for a while. Got a little sweat stain on there. But I've been had these shirts for a while. I got the hoodies available. They're available in different colors. All this kind of stuff. So Dreams plus Work equal reality. The Jermaine Morgan band. They're available. The Jermaine Morgan logo silhouette stuff is available. The Jermaine Morgan TV hoodies and all that. It's getting cold. So if you want to rock some of that stuff, I know some of you already have it. Thank y'all. I really appreciate that, man. It's so cool. I got a few pictures from people who sent me stuff of them wearing and stuff, and that was like, I thought it was the dopest thing. Just to see the support of people that actually believe in what you're doing, believe in the brand, believe in what I try to represent. Ultimately, I really appreciate it. So anyway, thank y'all. Not to be too much longer. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the live today. I enjoyed talking to y'all. And hopefully I gave you something to think about. And if so, share it with somebody. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up so you can help YouTube to stop hiding my videos. So anyway, I'll see you guys. I'm out of here. Have a great morning. Peace.